वन्दे देवमुमापतिं सुरगुरुं वन्दे जगत्कारणम् वन्दे पन्नगभूषणं मृगधरं वन्दे पशूनां पतिं वन्दे सूर्यशशाङ्कवह्निनयनं वन्दे मुकुन्दप्रियं वन्दे भक्तजनाश्रयं च वरदं वन्दे शिवं शङ्करं वन्दे भक्तजनाश्रयं च वरदं वन्दे शिवं शङ्करम्। ॐ विश्वं दर्पणदृश्यमाननगरी तुल्यं निजान्तर्गतम् पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिर्भूतं यथा निद्रया यः साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयम् तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदम् श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये। विश्वं पश्यति कार्यकारणतया स्वस्वामि सम्बन्धतः शिष्याचार्यतया तथैव पितृपुत्राद्यात्मना भेदतः स्वप्ने जाग्रति वाय एष पुरुषो माया परिभ्रामितः तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदम् श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये। तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदम् श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये। ॐ विश्वं दर्पणदृश्यमाननगरी तुल्यं निजान्तर्गतम् पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिर्भूतं यथा निद्रया यः साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयम् तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदम् श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये। भूरम्भां सनलो नीलोऽम्बरमहल् नाथो हिमांशुः पुमान् इत्याभाति चराचरात्मकमिदम् यस्यैव मूर्त्यष्टकम् नान्यत् किञ्चन विद्यते विमृशताम् यस्मात् परस्मात् विभोः तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदम् श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये। तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदम् श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये। Verses of Sri-daksinamurti-Srotram. We have been guided to look at in verse number 8. We have been guided to look at our perceptions as being perceptions wherein there is a transactional relationship with the world. We have a transactional relationship with the world. It is called Vyavaharika Sambandha. Sambandha means a relationship. Vyavaharika means a relationship of transaction. That's pretty much where it begins and ends, really speaking. If we are to actualize or be souls awakened to the truth, the deeper inner truth of the soul, of the universe, of the divine, then we need to be able to put in right perspective our relationship with the world also. And so there is no point in talking about oneness when my experience is constantly driven by duality and I find myself a ninja fighting with the world, competing with the world, boxing the world. என்ன மாதிரி ஐக்கியம் கிடைக்கும்? What kind of a oneness are we going to actualize when we have been trained to be fighters? We have been trained to be hustlers. We have used all our education in finally becoming hustlers in society. And therefore here, the metaphysics concluded, it began, the concluding verses 8, 9, 10 began with showing us that, look, here is a world that you experienced before you, and yes, in this you have transactions. You have transaction with your own parents. Your immediate transaction is with your ancestry. You have transaction with your family traditions. You have transactions. You have transactions with your society. You have transactions with the earth systems. You have transactions with the higher worlds that provides you certain day, night powers, wind, rain, energies. You have transactions with them on a day-to-day basis. Hey, your life is full of transactions. Shishya, Charya, Tatha Tathaiva Putra Putra Pitu Putradi. These are the different transactions, and therefore understand the nature of transactions. What is the nature of transaction? The nature of transactions is all transactions have come to you. You're forced to transact. You're cornered to transact. You are supposed to transact based on, and there is a model of transaction, and that model is called Rina Bandha. Rina Bandham is the model of transaction. That means, Rina means debt. You are bound in this transaction by your karmic debt. Don't think debt in life is only connected to the banks. That is a very simple debt. Although morning to night you're watching the stock market, that's your personal orientation. But really speaking, the real debt that you need to keep clearing is called Rinanubandham. What debt do I have? Earth has brought you back as a life form to live a life in this way as a human being. Why did she bring you back? Because you need to clear your debt to the earth. These parents brought you into the world with them. Why? Because you need to clear your debt to your parents. This dharma or this faith brought you to be born in this culture. Why? Because you are indebted to this tradition. You were brought into this world to be born and brought up in this village in Andhra. Why? Because the trees, the plants, the animal world around also had, you are indebted to them. And the whole society around you, that whole village that has served you to grow from childhood to adulthood, everybody who came into your life, giving you education, teaching you A, E, and making you educated, providing food, all the farmers, making sure in your growth process, there are no invasions, there are no challenges of this country, and therefore they hold the borders together. My God, we owe the human society so much. We are indebted to them. And therefore we talk about fivefold debts, to clear which we have no choice but to relate to all these levels of debt clearance karmically. Adhyapanam brahma yajna pitru yajnastu tarpanam homo daivo balir bhauto nryajnyo atithi pujanam. Forget about this verse, it's for me. Fivefold debts we have, and how are we going to remember? Well, by learning the art of giving, by becoming a contributor, not anymore a consumer. Consumer means what? Attracting more karmic debts. And therefore, while I live in the world, let me become a contributor at all 5 levels, so that I don't need to be brought back. I've been brought into the court of this creation, saying, hey, you owe. These are the things you are supposed to do to clear during this lifetime. I give you 30 years, I give you 60 years, I give you 80 years. Better get to action and learn the skill of being a contributor, for which you have got to relate to all these 5 levels, areas. And so don't think that you are here to possess them. Don't think you are here to take from them. And therefore, shift your perception from a illusion of inadequacies to the vision of Purnatvam, or fullness within you. Shift that vision so that your perception of the world will help you become a contributor. If I perceive the world as a threat, then I will be a ninja. If I perceive the world as that having more than what I have, then I'll become a survivor, a competitor. But shift your perception about yourself as being Purnaha, a being of light, a being of fullness. And therefore I am here to give. Ask me because I want to give. And when that becomes your inner soul's expressions, Your life is made because every day you become a channel for contributing and clearing your debt. That's all these relationships are all about. Not to go out there and grab and then stock up, hoard. Hoarding is not allowed in the nature. No life form hoards for 3 generations. A rabbit may hoard in his hole for 1 winter some food. Avladhan. Human beings are the only ones who hoard for 3 generations. Look how insecure we are. We are driven by insecurities. Well, this is what was the message, the gist of the 8th verse. The 9th verse, 15 minutes gone, okay. So the 9th verse, let us move forward and see what is being said in the 9th verse. Bhuram bhamsya nalo nilombaramahar natho himamshuv puman. Bhuram bhamsya nalo nilombaramahar natho himamshuv puman. Ityabhati characharatmakamidam yasyaiva murtyashtakam. Ityabhati characharatmakamidam yasyaiva murtyashtakam. Nanyat kinchana vidyate vimrishatam yasmat parasmat vibhoho. Nanyat kinchana vidyate vimrishatam yasmat parasmat vibhoho. Tasmai Shri Gurumurtaye Namaidam Sri-daksinamurti-Srotram. Tasmai Shri Gurumurtaye Namaidam Sri-daksinamurti. Continuing, we have seen in the metaphysics, in revealing the great secret of the universe, it was shown that the truth of the diverse world is Brahma, whose nature is Sat Chit Ananda. And the nature of the diversity, which is Nama Rupa, name and form, is called Jagat, the world. And so the truth of these two, which is real, which is unreal, which is true, which is false, which is the foundation, which is incidental, which is an illusion. These two things that makes up all our life, consciousness and matter. Well, it was said, what is Satyam is this consciousness, and what is an illusion, Mithya, is matter. He describes that you can say that Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya, but we need to know one thing. While we are dealing with this world, how should we perceive the world? Should we perceive the world as Mithya, or should we perceive the world as real? Because in and through every name and form is Sat, is Brahman, is Sat Chid Ananda too. And therefore, what must be the perception? mithyatva of the world or satyata. And here, this verse is very, very important because from the standpoint of the world and me and my relationship with the world, finally, you know what remains? Finally, what should remain is relating to the world as Ishvara. Finally, what should remain in my perception in all these relationships? Me as a mother, me as a daughter, me as a grandchild, me as a grandmother, me as a wife, me as a friend, me in so many relationships. Which one is the one I should hold on to? If you see yourself as consciousness, we are saying that what is it in this relationship, among all the relationships, which is the one which I need to hold on to? Either you see yourself as a jnani, as a wise person, where you and the Lord are not different from each other. There is one consciousness. That divine consciousness is the divinity and is you, your essence. Either you understand the truth of the divine or see yourself as a bhakta, a devotee connected to this world where Ishvara is everywhere. Please understand, what matters is only two relationships. One, either you are a jnani or you are a bhakta. Either you are operating, you are a personality that presents the soul to the world as a jnani, or you present yourself in the relationship as a bhakta. These are the two possibilities. And so in this verse, what is highlighted? In the past verse, we saw Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. Here he talks about what remains ultimately from the standpoint of transaction is, let there be that devotee in you. That means you see the Lord everywhere. Isha Vasyam Idam Sarvam is the statement of Isha Vasya Upanishad. And so explaining that beautifully, verse number 9 describes, we are looking at, as I said in the last session, verses 8, 9 and 10 are the concluding verses of this set of this Srotram, Sri-daksinamurti-Srotram. And so in verse number 8, we saw this statement highlighted. And what is that? Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. In your experiences of the world, we have two elements always to be aware of. There is an element of stability, rootedness, and there is an element of motion, mobility, what we call a born-gone situation. That element which is anchoring, stable, consistent, that never changes, that ever is called Brahma, defined as Sat, Chit and Ananda, or Asti Bhati Priyam. Sat, Chit, Ananda or Asti Bhati Priyam. This is the foundation of all cognition, all experiences. And the second element, which is the moving element, the changing element, that which always is different, that has the component of many, of varied, of color, of form, of differences. That second component is called Jagat. The first component is Brahma, second component is Jagat. And in this, what is true? Which is true? Brahma, Satyam, Jagat, Mithya. The transient component is called an illusion. The anchoring component is called Brahma. Without the anchoring, the illusion is not possible. Please understand this very clearly. Where the illusion is, there the anchor is. Where the illusion is, there the anchor is. Where the movie is, there the screen is. Which is real? Movie is real or the screen is real in your theater? I know you can't answer with audios off, but your eyes are telling me what? The screen is real. But when you experience the movie, do you see the screen? I don't see the screen, therefore it doesn't exist. Can I say? No. I don't see it, but it exists. How do you know? Ammaji, without the screen, where is the movie? Oh, you're so convinced? Even if you don't see the screen, you're so convinced that without the screen there is no movie? Yes, I'm convinced. As convinced I am. As convincing is this revelation that without Brahma, there is no experience of the name and form called Jagat. Without the Adhara, without the basis, without the anchor, there is no movement possible. And therefore the anchoring component of your cognition, of your experiences is called Brahma, and the varying component is called Jagat. The stable component is called Brahma. The varying component is called Maya. The nature of Maya is Mithya because it changes. And that which changes will continue to change. That which is stable will ever be there. Good idea, Ammaji. Anyway, Brahman is not going anywhere. It's going to be there permanently. Then why should I worry? Let me chase that which is escaping me. Buddhu, that which is escaping you, let it go. Because it's anyway, you will have to keep chasing it. You will be stressed out. What has to go, let it go. If it has to come back, it will come back. But what is with you? Hold on to that. Anchor yourself in that which is already with you. And when that brings completion to your life, why would you want to chase that which is escaping your hands? And therefore, what is the message of all this learning? Awaken to your eternal being than chasing that which is going to slip away anyway. And therefore, wake up to who you are and not who you want to be. is really the thread of this entire teachings here. And so focusing on Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya, and therefore everything is Maya Kalpitam, whether it is Swapna or waking state. Don't think waking state is more real than dream state. No, no, no. Swapne Jagrati Vayesha Purushaha Maya Paribhramitaha. Who are you? You are only jumping from one illusion to the other illusion. One is called dream, the other is called waking. If you choose to call this real, you are in trouble, is what we are being taught, is what our Guru Shiva is teaching us. If you think the waking world is real, and then you are going to be in big soup. Why? Because it is as unreal as dream and deep sleep. What do you mean unreal? Don't ask me in the end of teaching you Ramayana. Who is it? Ammaji, throughout you use, in last so many days you use these two words, Rama and Ravana. And then in between you use a third word called Rakshasa. I know we are completing, Pattabhishekam has come, we are completing Ramayana. I only have one question, Ammaji. What? Please, let's clear all questions on the last day. My question is, who was the Rakshasa? Was Rama the Rakshasa or was Ravana the Rakshasa? Just one question, will you please answer my question? What will Ammaji say? Ammaji will say, neither Rama was the Rakshasa, nor Ravana was the Rakshasa. I am the Rakshasa. I curse the day when I chose to teach Ramayana. And so, please understand here, what we have to hold on to, we hold on. What we need to let go, we let go. And therefore, Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. And this is a fact for waking experience, dream experience and deep sleep experience. And this particular powerful message is really the key of Mandukya Upanishad, where it analyzes the three states of experience and arrives at the nature of truth. Continuing in the verse number 9, he says, Bhuram bhamsya nalo nilombaramahar nato himamshuv puman. What is this? Iti. Iti means thus. Thus means these 8 things. What are they? This is called Murti Ashtakam. Ashtamurti. This is Murti Ashtakam. Ramana Maharshi says in Upadesha Saram, Jagadaishadhi Murti Jagadaishadhi Yukti Sevanam Ashtamurti Bhrid Deva Pujanam. All that is here in this universe is Ashtamurti. 8-fold form. The universe has 8-fold form. What is that 8-fold form? Bhuhu, the earth. Ambasi, the air. Analaha. Analaha means fire. So, alam na vidyate. No, ambasi is water. Ambas is water. And so, here, analaha is that which never says alam. Alam na vidyate. Who never says in alam? Alam means enough. That which never says enough is fire. Why? Because it comes up. And then you put something in it, and then it again comes up. Says what? Give me more. Give me more. Then you put more ghee. You put more ghee, again it becomes bigger. More. And so, alamna vidyate. In Sanskritam, the very name of fire is analaha. That which never says enough is fire. And so, what are our desires? Our desire is like a fire. Have you heard this example? Desires is like fire. What is a comparison? It never says enough. Yeah. And so analaha, then anilaha. Anila means na nilayati. So that which never stands in one place. What is that? Air. It keeps moving. It never stands in one place. So anilaha. And ambaram. Ambaram means cloth. And so the whole galaxy for that matter, not just our planet, the entire galaxy is covered with a cloth. What is the color of the cloth? It is a transparent cloth called space. And therefore, ambaram is space. And so we have five elements being presented here with earth. Earth means that which nourishes, animate and inanimates. And so these five, aharnathaha. Natha is the ruler, the maker. Ahaha, that which makes the day. Who makes your day? My husband makes my day. Hey, we're talking about sun. Without sun, there is no day. Who makes the day? We know you love your husband, but the one who makes the day is the sun. So, Aharnatha is Surya Deva. Aharnatha. And the other one is Himamshuhu. So, Himam Amshu Yasya. Himam, cool, cool. Amshu means rays. That which has cool rays is called the moon. The moon. So, Aharnatha, the one who has hot rays, is the sun. The one who has cool rays is the moon. These are the 7 elements. And the 8th one is what? Puman. Puman. Puman represents Jiva, the individual. Individual means all life forms. Wherever life has a sense of I, wherever life has a sense of I, even plants have a sense of I. That is why when you go to touch me not, plant, what does it do? Touch me not, it says. Is it not? Why? This is me, don't touch me, move away. So they have a sense of I. Plants have a sense of I, animals have a sense of I, birds have a sense of I. Which is that life form which does not have a sense of I? And therefore, Puman, I take Puman as being Jiva, as an individual, that which has a sense of I. In other words, life itself. And so, these 8-fold, the 5 elements, the sun, the moon, and the Jiva, the life, living being. He says, Murtyashtakam. So chara acharatmakam idam. Idam rupam, this eightfold form, rupam, idam rupam, this eightfold form which consists of animates and inanimates, chara, achara, that which is of the nature of animate and inanimate, it shines. Who shines? The Lord shines in this eightfold form. This is a most beautiful, beautiful description of the divine. And he says, Nanyet kinchana vidyate vimrishatam. So vimrishatam, for the thinking people, for those who have their head on their shoulder, for the awakened people who have understood the metaphysics of life, for them, na anyat kinchana vidyate. Yasmat, other than parasmat vibhoho, other than the Supreme Lord in the form of the eight, which has been just described, na anyat kinchana vidyate. Nothing else is outside this eightfold form of the divine. All that is here is eightfold. And nothing is outside this eightfold universe. And this eightfold is where the divine manifests, where the Lord manifests. Which is the first manifestation? First manifestation is you, Puman. You are the manifestation of the divine. You are one among the 600 crore people. Imagine, 600 crore human manifestations of the divine. And this 600 crore is manifest where? On earth. Bhuhu. Bhuhu, the first one. Bhuhu. And this earth, this particular sentence describes the entire galaxy. It has water, Ammaji, it has air, it has fire, it has space. Oh my, this earth is phenomenal. This entire manifestation of the earth and its world is described in this world, in this verse, fivefold. Bhuhu, Ammaji, Analaha, Anilaha, Ambaraha, and this Puman, life forms, and this fivefold, what has been said, And then what happens? This earth orbits around the sun. Orbits around the sun, and in our solar system, you see that sun. The seer is the divine. The seen is the divine. The seer is divine. Seen is divine. In between what? The sight, of course. The experience, of course, is nothing but the experience of divinity. And so the sun is mentioned as one more element of the divine. The sun is a star which is self-luminous. And to mention a planet, he mentions Himamshu, because planet is that which is not self-luminous. A little bit of our own geography, right? We learned in school. Sun is a star is that which is luminous. Moon is a planet. Planet is that which is not self-luminous. Star has very hot temperature, planets have lower temperature. You remember all this? And therefore, so from the earth we move to the sun and to the planet moon, and this sun is the center of our solar system. And what is the sun? The sun is one star. It is only one star among the billions and billions of stars in our galaxy called the Milky Way. And we are one galaxy among the millions of galaxies in this universe. Is it not? When you look up there, when you look out, Puman, Ashtamurti, the seer is divine. And what are you seeing? You are seeing the 5 elements. You are seeing the sun, you are seeing the moon. You are seeing the planets, you are seeing the stars, you are seeing the Milky Way. In fact, the whole cognition is of one galaxy. Like that, extend this cognition, extend this experience to multiple galaxies of that is called universe. And he says, the awakened souls are those souls who know for a fact that there is no Lord that is outside this universe. When you say the divine, what you perceive, you're perceiving always the divine. I'm always seeing the divine. In fact, the seer is divine, the seen is divine. Hence the Upanishads begin with Ishavasyam idam sarvam. Ishava, all that is here is one consciousness. In the experience of seer, seen, sight, all that is here is one consciousness appearing how? In this dream as seer, seen, and the very sight that connects the seer and the seen. And therefore, where are you? Where are you, the ego? Shiva says, all that is here is me. That is in the form of Ashtamurti. Where are you? You don't even exist. And you keep squeaking. This is my body. This is my body. This is my thing. This is my house. This is my car, my phone. What a silly play we are all in. The truth is, all that is here is Bhagavan. And so when all that is here is Bhagavan, if that is a fact, in your perception, if your perception doesn't see this fact, whose fault it is? Who needs to correct the perception? I need to correct the perception until the perception of division does not disturb me. The correction process, like I see the sunrise, knowing fully well the sun doesn't rise. Just because there is a perception of sunrise which is opposite of what you know, does the sunrise disturb you? Does it disturb you? It doesn't disturb. The sunrise defies my knowledge that the sun doesn't rise, but does it disturb you? That's the question we ask ourselves. When the perception does not disturb me, I know it is an illusion. An illusion cannot disturb me because I know it is not the truth. And I say, oh well, this is Bhagavad Leela. Because this illusion is there, is how the divine ordained. Therefore, namaskara, oh sun, you can rise. I do namaskara to you. I know you are false, but I can do namaskara. I know your rising is false, but I can still do namaskara. You do whatever you want, you can't disturb me. I know the truth is you don't rise. This is called rootedness in this knowledge, where the perception of duality does not bother me, where I am awakened to my truth as being Sat, 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 where I awaken to my truth as being Chit, 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 where I awaken to my truth as being free from Desha, Kala, time and space. Time and space is in my cognition. Cognition is merely cognition. When you see something in front of you in this moment, is there a concept of time there? Time cognition comes only when you move to the past or to the future. When you remain in the present, you lose the cognition of time because it is an illusion. It doesn't stick to you. And so here, in these beautiful concluding verses, he says, all that is here is Ashtamurti Brit. All that is here is this one infinite in the form of these 8, broadly speaking, 8 consisting of animate and inanimate and our entire galaxy. And like this, why our galaxy? Because it is in this Milky Way galaxy that you have the perception of seer seen. Up to the end of the galaxy, you have the perception of seer seen, experience of seer seen. And so the same model, when you extend out to multiple galaxies, that is called the universe. And the whole universe is Ashtamurti, Bhagavan. And so, na anyat kinchana vidyate. And if you can do this upasana, up to the 8th verse we were told Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. Brahman is the basis on which the name and form exists. Therefore, name and form had a dependent reality. The basis stood independently. And therefore, Swatantraha, Paratantraha, we discussed this in the earlier verses. Brahman is Satyam. On Brahman is this world, we said. Now. How should I deal with this world? With this knowledge? He says, on this world of name and form, superimpose Brahman. The metaphysics is on Brahman is Nama Rupa, but your sadhana in life is on the world. Superimpose Brahman. This is the Virat Upasana. It is the culmination of all meditations. It is called Virat Upasana. In the Bhagavad Gita, the 12th chapter, beautiful, elaborate unfoldment of showing us how we live a life, stepwise movement from being a karma yogi, from being one who has prasada buddhi, Ishwararpana buddhi, to Ishta Devata Upasana. From there you jump to Virat Upasana, Vishwarupa. That's why Arjuna asked Bhagavan, give me Vishwarupa Darshanam. Let me see this universe as you, O Lord. Give me that one vision where I see the universe as you. Beautifully, in verse number 9, we are described this upasana where 8 forms, wherever I see, whatever I look at, it is you, O Lord. And therefore reverence becomes the only attitude that is relevant in this world. Reverence, because all that is here is divine. The attitude towards the sacred, the bhavana of reverence is the only attitude that matters for the soul's resurrection or self-awakening. And so here he says, this attitude of looking at the world as Ashtamurti Bhrit, the Lord in 8 forms, as you do for Surya. He is a very good example. As you do for Surya, you know one thing, but even though the perception is opposite, it does not matter. It doesn't disturb you. How long should I be spiritual? How long should my sadhana be? Until the world disturbs you. Until the philosophy of separation disturbs you, so long as sadhana continues. The sadhana of oneness continues so long as you give reality to separation. Oh, when will this sadhana stop? The day duality becomes an illusion. The day non-duality becomes my living reality, my journey is complete, successfully completed with A+, gold medal. I have lived human life fully as it was meant to be lived. The Upanishad tells us, Yaha Atmanam aviditva asman lokat preti sakripanaha. The one who leaves this world without knowing what is the secret of his soul, own soul, he did not use the great tool given to him, the buddhi. It was given to choose this, manifesting the highest consciousness. That's why this buddhi was given, so that it understands, it knows what is oneness. But if he left this world without knowing Atma, he was a miser. He did not use his buddhi as it was meant to be. And so, beautifully, in the last verse, we will see tomorrow, what is the final phalam? Okay, I do Virat Upasana, I look upon the world as the Lord and do my duties, my responsibilities, my attitudes. At the end of it, what is we are so practical, and so down to earth. What is the outcome? Every corporate house asks, what is the outcome? What is the returns, right? Well, verse number 10 gives you the culmination of your returns. With this knowledge, what will be my returns? You have to wait only 24 hours before you get the answer. We shall close here. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ।